good. You see it? You see it? That's 2 out of 3 of my brothers. That was 2001 year. I'll touch base on that, but you know, just moving forward at your age. Those of you 5th graders, you're going to be going to middle school next. 3 years from now, you'll be going to high school. So each step is moving forward. That hard work and dedication. Those of you who like to play sports, sports wasn't everything for me. For me, it started with school. Staying in school, moving forward. School helped me get that opportunity to go to a good college. And for me, I went to a small school, Division II, Southern Connecticut. And it wasn't any type of school like Michigan or Ohio State, things like that. For me, I went to go study special education. So I studied to be a teacher. I loved it, loved being a part of it. Football was that added bonus for me that gave me that opportunity. For me, football kind of steamrolled a little bit and just moved forward as I got better and an opportunity to continue my career. So when I speak about life, you guys are going to have your ups and downs. Those of you who have bad test grade or bad game, whether it's sports or stuff like that, it's how you bounce back from that test grade, bouncing back and recouping and getting a better grade on the next grade instead of just plateauing or going down on that. So as you go down in life, you got to reach for the stars. For me, I wasn't given any opportunity to get into a good college. I went to a good college, I'm sorry. Went to a top Division I college. But I chose where I was and triumphed at what I was doing on and off the field. I had the opportunity to work out for a couple scouting combines. But you know what? I pulled my hamstring running for them. So I wasn't on anybody's radar list in the NFL. So for me, I had to work twice as hard the following year to come back and get that opportunity again. And the opportunity came with my agent coming to me and Green Bay Packers giving a phone call. Now I wasn't drafted. I was a rookie free agent. I got a big, fat, 0 bonus. You guys see those $1 million numbers in the papers nowadays? I signed my name, and they won't even let me keep the pen I signed my name with. But that hard work and dedication that I learned growing up and moving forward, one day at a time, helped me get into Green Bay and move forward and open some eyes. I ended training camp that year as the biggest surprise in the NFL, coming from nowhere and making the opening day roster with the Green Bay Packers. Had that opportunity to move forward. Who likes roller coasters here? A lot of hands, all right. Life, when you deal with life, I like to compare it to a roller coaster, because you're going to have the ups and downs. And I speak about how you come from that bottom, getting back up to the top, getting that opportunity, and you keep climbing that. But 3 years at Green Bay, opportunity was there. Unfortunately, it is the NFL. NFL really means not for long. Those of you who don't know that. So I spent my 3 years there and was able to, get to the point where, my name was out there, but it wasn't really out there. So that roller coaster ride, the one that comes down and spins and stuff like that, that's where I was when I was released from Green Bay. But a couple of days later, some guy named Bill Belichick, does you know him? And he's not here anymore, but Scott Pioli had given me a phone call, asked me to come in for a workout. So I came in for a workout, and guess what? They flew me back home. A couple of days later, they called me up, said they wanted to sign me to a contract. So 2 good things Green Bay did for me was sign me as a rookie free agent and then cut me in 2000. So I came here, and 2000, Bill's first year, had another opportunity. You don't get too many opportunities in the NFL, and you got to take them and run with it. Had the opportunity, signed. 3 days year, I was a starting left guard, finished that season in 2000, and 2001 came along. They brought in another guy to beat me out. Worked hard. I beat him out. Ended up starting that year, and that's third, fourth, fifth, okay, you guys, some of you are a little young, but 2001 season, I talked about my family, my three brothers. They might know what my brothers do for a living. Way in the back? You got it. I have three brothers that are New York City firemen. And that season, September 11th happened. And I was sitting in a dentist chair, believe it or not. It was our day off during the season. And not knowing what was going on. And not knowing where my family was, having a feeling of one, if not all, my brothers were down there. Thankfully enough, my brother was able to get out of the tower. My one brother who was there, unfortunately, many of his colleagues didn't. It was a tough time in many people's lives. And for me to be a part of their lives, as soon as that weekend was canceled, the following weekend, drove down to New York to be with my family and to help them through that tough time. But you have to move forward, help them moving forward. My brothers came up for the following game against the New York Jets as honorary captains on what they represented. They didn't come up for me, they didn't come up for themselves. They came up for what they stood for. And to hear the crowd screaming and yelling, we were playing the Jets. It's probably the first and hopefully the last time we ever see the Jet fans and Patriot fans holding hands. But probably the last time. And to turn around and, let's see, you guys remember Drew Bledsoe? Yeah! That was the last game he started. He came out there, and Drew never really ran with the ball. For some reason, he decided to run with the ball. And like I told you, NFL stands for not for long. Injuries do happen. Drew got hit, unfortunately, took a big injury, and in came this guy named Tom Brady. Anybody? I don't know if anybody knows him. I kind of know him a little bit, but he's a little scrawny guy when he came playing that year. But Tom was a great guy. He came in there with a competitive attitude and was ready to get out there and win games. So for us, that's what we needed. We were a bunch of nobodies that went out there one game at a time and just started putting some W's on the board. But that whole year we were able to make it to the Super Bowl and to get into that last final drive. And Tom came in the huddle and said, let's go do this thing. And to be able to watch Adam Vinatieri kick it through the field goal, hold that trophy up when my brothers came down in that field that whole year, to us as a family, holding that trophy up and knowing that they're a part of that trophy, as well as I am, as well as my teammates, as well as their families. It was a great moment in my career. And guess what? We were able to do it 2 more times. So we lucked out after that year to come back in 02, hit a couple bumps in the road. In 03, 04, we triumphed and was able to make it back 2 years in a row. But once again, the NFL becomes a business. Finished my career up with the Cleveland Browns my last 2 years after I left here in 04. And I followed Romeo Cornell over in Cleveland. So nobody's from Cleveland here, right? So we won't talk about that anyway. I don't like to talk about Cleveland. It was a rough 2 years. But in the process of looking to move forward and play another year in the league, I just finished my 10th year in the league. I was training and working out, about to take some trips, and started getting some stomach aches. Stomach ache after stomach ache, and proceeded to get worse. Went to my doctor, and within days I was diagnosed with Burkitt's lymphoma, which J.R. mentioned earlier, which is a very rare and aggressive form of cancer that doubles in size in 24 hours. So you remember I talked about that roller coaster ride. Now I'm on that ride and going down, you get in that tunnel, and it's pitch black. Football got pushed aside, rings were pushed aside, and I was fighting for my life. And trying to fight for my family too. At the time I had 4 children, young children, and trying to get to the best place possible. During my time spent here in New England, met a lot of numerous children, a lot of numerous families. Crystal Lane's nephew and her family were introduced to me. The connection was made. We don't know why. Maybe somebody upstairs works in funny ways sometimes. The connection was made. Unfortunately, he did battle for a pretty long time with the type of cancer he had. To look at him and how he battled his, he had an inoperable brain tumor. No matter how sick he was, I stopped by the house, he'd jump up. He taught my son how to play video games too, so that's probably why he's all too good right now. CJ, unfortunately, did pass away in 2002. My wife and I did start the CJ Buckley Fund in 2003 for brain cancer research in honor of him. And in 3 years, 3 events that we had, we raised over $500,000 and donated to his doctor at Children's Hospital. And who would have known, 2 years, 3 years